It's Friday, January 4th, 2012, and let's talk about what happened this week at XDADevelopers.com. First up, device and ROM update news. A little bit late to be reporting on this, but on Christmas Eve, Verizon made a big ol' mistake, and they released, accidentally, Android version 4.1 for the Motorola Droid RAZR. They were very quick to go ahead and pull it back, but XDA senior member SPC Hicks09 managed to grab a copy of it and posted it on XDA. If you do decide to give this a shot, keep in mind it is supposedly impossible to go back to ICS from this, so you might not want to be jumping on it. Apparently Verizon put it out there, there was something majorly wrong with it, so they went ahead and pulled it back. I've heard there are a lot of people saying they don't have any issues with it, but I'm not going to be in a huge hurry to put it on my wife's phone, to say the least. Additionally, this week we had unofficial ports of CM 10.1 show up for the Samsung Galaxy Ace, the Galaxy Mini, the Galaxy Fit, and the Nook HD+. The one for the Galaxy Mini has some graphical issues and some tethering issues specifically related to USB and Wi-Fi tethering. The Galaxy Ace has some issues with video playback, and multi-user is not working. I think it's actually been disabled. The Galaxy Fit has some strange audio routing issues, secure Wi-Fi access point is not working, and the YouTube controls are not working, so the YouTube app can't be controlled properly. And the HD+, as with most of the other Nooks I've seen in the past, has a very, very interesting thing. It can run it from SD. On the flip side of that though, if you want to reboot back into the stock OS, you actually have to take out the SD card and reboot it. You can't just reboot and select what you want on startup. Not a huge deal, but just throw it out there. However, there are some MTP and Bluetooth audio related issues with this version for the Nook HD+, so do keep that in mind if you decide to give it a shot. However, again, keep in mind you're putting it on an SD card, you're not actually writing it to the device, so it's not really that big of a deal if something goes wrong, right? Unless it somehow manages to brick the device. It shouldn't do that though. That's about all as far as that's concerned. Let's go ahead and move on. If you have the Nexus 7, or really just about any other Android device, you've probably noticed lag at some point or another. Be it you're in an application that's kind of heavy, you hit the home button and it takes forever and a day to redraw the home screen. You're in an app, everything's running fine, and then all of a sudden it'll just kind of lag here and there. Or any one of 100 different ways that it could just lag for you for some reason or another and then sort of go back to normal. XDA senior member LamGX02 noticed that as well and took a look into it, and it seems that the way that Google's JVM works, it uses /dev/random for all of its random number generation, which is done quite often. It's done for a lot of different things. Unfortunately, /dev/random, not really the largest pool of random numbers. So it causes the device to bog down trying to access that, trying to generate the new numbers. Well, what he's done, he's gone ahead and created an application called Cedar Entropy Generator, which essentially he's compiled this app to run against /dev/urandom to generate random numbers every minute and then feed those numbers to /dev/random. And while I've read this generates some amazing performance boost, it's supposedly also got some cons to it. The cons though, you're gonna have less security in terms of your cryptography is gonna be a little bit lower quality. You're gonna be generating these random numbers from a place that Google doesn't intend you to be generating them. Not really a huge deal, there shouldn't be anything to really exploit that, but you never know. And the other potential downside, there may be a battery life issue, but it doesn't appear to be a problem so far. Keep in mind, you're gonna have to be rooted to use this if I remember correctly. You can get it from the market, I think it's $1.49, and you can also get the APK from the XDA forums if you wanna try it out. Moving right along and moving into a territory that I'm a little more familiar with, on Wednesday, Canonical made their big announcement. Ubuntu for phones. Ubuntu Phone OS, I think is what they're actually calling it. Now this may again sound familiar. Ubuntu for Android was announced just about a year ago, and nothing ever really came of it. However, this is something a step beyond that. They're using the Linux kernel with Ubuntu on top of it, optimized for ARM, and the long-term goal is to get everything unified onto one look and feel, and then eventually have the desktop, laptop, tablet, phone, everything look and feel the same. I've kind of been saying this about Unity for a while, that it looks and feels like a tablet interface, but it's not yet. Anyway, there's loads and loads of information you can get about that from the portal post, which I'll have linked down in the video description, or you can check out the latest video over on my channel, youtube.com/twill.tv, right down at the very bottom of the video description. I made a news video talking all about the Linux news for the week, and that was the big story for the week. Now going back to the Nexus 7 for just a minute, lots and lots of different things have been ported to the Nexus 7. It's a big open device, so of course people are going to port stuff over to it. You've got lots and lots of Jelly Bean ROMs, and of course you've got Ubuntu coming to it with Ubuntu 13.04. However, that was not enough for some people. The latest in the string of things to come to the Nexus 7 is webOS. This was done by webOS Ports and the Open webOS crew. From the video video I saw on their channel, it looks to be a little bit jerky, a little bit early, but again, this was never really intended to be run on it, so it's nice to see it running at all. Additionally, it supposedly requires a PC to boot, but after that point, once you get it booted up, it's supposed to run untethered. So you plug it in, you boot it into webOS, you unplug it, and you move on with your day. The big issue there, of course, you don't have the traditional hardware, but they've done away with some of the issue with that in that they've added a little gesture area at the bottom, a virtual gesture area. So you've got a little blue line at the bottom you can swipe up from and do all of your traditional webOS-based gestures. The other issue, of course, is just webOS itself not having a huge amount of applications. But if you're already a webOS fan, this may be a good thing for you, although I would be willing to bet there's not going to be a huge call for it simply because so many people got the touchpad and now have Android on it. One way or another, it would be very cool to see this in a dual boot configuration. I think I said this about that for the Galaxy Nexus. If I remember correctly, this port actually was a port of the Galaxy Nexus version of OpenWebOS, so it all sort of comes full circle. Either way, excellent job there. I do look forward to seeing more progress on WebOS on the Nexus 7. I still have yet to do anything with my Nexus 7 other than what I'm doing right now, which is filming myself with it using Chainfire's DSLR controller app. And the last thing I thought I would mention, there was one other video put out on XDA Developer TV this week. It was an app review done by TK, and it's all about SendIt. SendIt is an application that will allow you to send large files from one device to another. I believe it uses SMS. I saw that in the video, and that's what it looked like. Been a long week, haven't had a chance to watch the video, but you should definitely go check it out if you're interested in sending files and you don't want to use something like Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever else. But that's all from me for today. As always, if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button down below, and also make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. There's apparently penguins down there as well. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.